Hey everybody, Mr. the Fanboy here, Douglas Blair Roberts, the Super Vader 400, and of course, the Brown Skin Human, coming back at you with another wrestling review. Actually, the first WWE Raw review I've done in a long time. Like I said yesterday, Elimination Chamber 2021 was such an awesome show. Especially the ending. I couldn't wait to see the fallout on Raw for the first time in a while. I was excited to tune in to WWE um, Raw, and this right here is not only a review. This is also a rant. Because while Raw was pretty good and pretty entertaining tonight, I had a couple of problems with it that I've actually had with WWE for a long time, and those problems appeared and affected my enjoyment of this show. So I will be talking about that in the on camera. Actually, I'll be talking about that here when I get done with the results. But like I said, yeah, I want to see the fallout between Lashley, McIntyre, who McIntyre was nowhere near this. He wasn't on this show. McIntyre, Lashley, The Miz, Morrison, Morrison, and MVP in the Hurt Business. I want to see the fallout. Where does the chapter go next? Yeah, that's how we started the show off. We started the show with The Miz naming his accomplishments and talk about how he's outlasted all wrestlers: John Cena, John Cena, Lashley, Punk, every wrestler who's come to WWE and gone. He name dropped, and it was just kept going on and on about his accomplishments and how he's the ultimate A-lister now. Then MVP and Bobby Lashley come out and remind them of, and MVP reminds them of the agreement they made at the Elimination Chamber last night, that if Lashley would help him win that world title, he would be first in line for a quote title shot. This was an awesome exchange with Miz saying he promised the title shot, but he didn't promise Lashley would be first in line. He said he has talk show appearances, various other pay-per-views and stuff, and various other wrestlers, and he can't do it right. He can't do it right now. They keep threatening Miz, saying we had an agreement, and Bobby Lashley cut an awesome promo talking about how if Miz doesn't, he says one way or the other, he's gonna brutally beat down the Miz and take that world title, take that world title. And if Miz goes back on the agreement, he'll need to star in a new show called How I Put You in the Hospital. And it will be, he mocked his catchphrase. Awesome. That was an awesome segment to start the show. So MVP gave Miz an hour. The Hurt Business gave Miz an hour to come to the right decision. They counted down throughout the show. The first match of the night was, Matt Riddle, the new United States champion, um, wrestling against John Morrison, defending his title against John Morrison. This was a pretty good match. I wanted Morrison to win, but I knew Riddle was going to win. He's not going to lose the belt just after a night. I think it was Matt Riddle who won. Hold on, let me check the results. Yeah, it was definitely Riddle. Then skipping the New Day and Retribution garbage. I didn't care for that. Then, of course, you had the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander squashing the Lucha House Party in a pretty good squash match. And and then you had another match I enjoyed. Didn't enjoy the end result, but that was Damian Priest taking on my boy Angel Garza. Wanted Angel Garza to win, but he's not really being used in any major storyline. So I predicted Damian Priest would win, and Damian Priest won with his finisher. Don't remember what it was, but I'll talk about it in the on camera portion. I mean, in the match review portions, which those will be on camera. Then skipping the females, we go to Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. We go to Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. This is a pretty good match. A little too slow for a Hardy match, for a Hardy and Sheamus match, but it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good with Sheamus getting the victory. There was also a promo with Ric Flair and his daughter Charlotte, where his daughter Charlotte cut a lame promo about talking about her sick of being in the Nature Boy shadow, and some previous angle about a pregnancy that I don't care about. And anyway, the segment was just terrible. Ric Flair carried it, but it was just terrible, and I don't care to see Charlotte Flair Charlotte Flair ever again. Next was AJ Styles with Omos taking on Ricochet in a pretty good television match, with AJ Styles of course winning, and Omos um picking Ricochet up at the end and choking him. Then of course we get oh yes, then the hour comes up. The hour comes up, which happened before the second two matches I'm talking about. The hour finally came up. Miz came to the ring to make his decision, and he once again, after a long promo where Miz talked about Lashley, you think you're the first in line? Multiple wrestlers want a shot at the title. Multiple shot. And then MVP responded with an awesome, with a clever says, Miz, you do not have a deal with other wrestlers. You have a deal with the Hurt Business, us. So Miz once again pleads with Lashley for more time. Then Shane McMahon comes out, Adam Pearce comes out, then shockingly Braun Strowman comes out. Braun Strowman I like but don't care much for. WWE has just ruined him. They should have pushed him when I was into him, and there have been so many better big men in other companies that I just didn't care for Braun Strowman. But this is the first time in a while I cared about him, because Adam Pearce and Shane McMahon made after Braun Strowman cut a hilarious promo saying he thinks each of them sucks, to the anger of Lashley, who MVP held him back. He said he wants a shot at the Universal Championship, and Shane McMahon replied, "Well, like you said, Braun, you getting a shot at the title, that sucks. You haven't been a WWE. You've never been a WWE champion. The Elimination Chamber was for WWE champions, something like that." So then Shane McMahon or Adam Pearce, one of them came up with the ultimatum that if Braun Strowman can defeat Lashley tonight, he will earn entry into Miz and Lashley's title match next week on Raw. And that was that. And now we have the main event right here with Bobby Lashley taking on Braun Strowman. For the first time in a while, I actually wanted Strowman to win, even though I like Lashley much better, because I did want Strowman to make this a triple threat, to make this match a little bit more interesting. But um, Bobby Lashley defeated Braun Strowman, and then after it was over, Miz tried to come in. Miz tried to come in and attack Lashley with the belt, and Lashley gave Miz a powerful spear, a clothesline and powerful spear to close the show. So it's going to be Miz and Lashley next week on Raw. So like I was saying, Raw was pretty good tonight. For the first time in a while, I want to tune into Raw. Now for me to talk about my issues with Raw. The first problem I have with Raw is and WWE in general, and this is because of their intense road schedule. I guess it's not as bad as it was in the 90s and 2000s, but their intense road schedule. Wrestling is supposed to be about fast-paced, exciting, explosive action. These guys are moving slow. These guys are moving way too slow in the ring. It's kind of hard to watch this when you watch New Japan, All Elite Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, and every other promotion. They're fast-paced, exciting. Matches. Kind of hard to go back to these kind of hard to go back to these quote unquote slow based matches, and then you got yeah, these slow paced matches, and then yeah, and then 3 hours. It is just torture. It is just torture and a drag to watch. Everyone else talks about how how unwatchable shows like All Elite Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan are. Well, their shows. Well, New Japan's their pay per views are, but their wrestling shows aren't 3 hours. And New Japan for 3 hours, for the most part, can keep me entertained. I usually like to skip a couple of matches, New Japan matches, but this 3 hour stuff, it is just killing. They don't have the roster, the talent. They don't have the roster nor the talent to keep 3 hours like WCW did back in the day. WCW did back in the day. It is torture. It is torture pretty much every night. So those are the issues with Raw and why you don't see that many Raw reviews, even when you did have a good show, because the shows were just so hard to get through. I was tired after it was over and never reviewed it, never got around to reviewing it. So with that being said, let's get on to the match reviews right now. Let's show this episode of Raw what I'm made of. All right, now it's time for the match reviews. And the very first match was John Morrison taking on Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle. This was a pretty good back and forth match to start the show. Like I said, a little slow, but a pretty good match. And this, along with the Styles match later on, were probably matches of the night, and of course the main event. But this was a pretty good match. This was a pretty good match right here. Matt Riddle won the match with his finisher, the Bro Down. I think that's what it's called, for the 1, 2, 3, retaining his United States Championship. The next match was Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander facing the Lucha House Party, whom they destroyed. I don't remember Lucha House Party getting in that many moves, but one move I do remember was Cedric Alexander hitting a brutal power bomb to one of the Lucha House members, and they eventually pinned him with Don't remember the finish, but I just remember them winning, and then the third match was Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy, another pretty good competitive match. A little slow for a Jeff Hardy Sheamus match. They went back and forth, and Sheamus reversed Jeff Hardy's twist of fate into a bro kick and his finisher for the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus wins. Hate the way Jeff Hardy is being utilized. The Elimination Chamber last night was his best showing, coming out strong on Randy Orton, and surprisingly lasting longer than Randy Orton in that chamber, in that quote unquote chamber. Then you had who was after Jeff Hardy? Who was after Jeff Hardy? Oh yeah, Jeff Hardy. Then you had AJ Styles taking on Ricochet in a pretty good competitive match. AJ Styles reversed Ricochet's move and hit the knee to face, then followed up with the Styles Clash for the 1, 2, 3, winning the match, and Omos picked Ricochet up for the choke and threw him down to the delight and shock and intimidate and scaredness of and to the shock and fear of AJ Styles, of AJ Styles. So yeah, that was that match. Then the main event had Lashley versus Braun Strowman. I looked away, so I kind of missed the finish, but this was a pretty good match. For the first time in a while, I actually rooted for Strowman, even though I like Lashley so much better. I wanted him to join the match and make it a three-way. Make it a three-way. Make it a three-way. I was disappointed I didn't see Drew McIntyre on this show at all. Nowhere. Nowhere. He didn't come out later. He didn't come out in the beginning. He didn't come out in the second part when the Miz's hour was up, and he didn't have anything to do with this main event. Instead, it was Braun Strowman. Well, anyway, this was still a pretty good big man television match with Lashley. I think winning with his submission hold. I think it was a submission. I don't think he pinned Strowman. I think it was a submission. Then Miz tried to come in and hit him with the title. Lashley gave him a clothesline, then a spear, sending him a message to next week, which now already next week's Raw. I can't wait for the main event. Is something to look forward to. Like I said, Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Business, and the several wrestlers I do enjoy do give me something to look forward to when I watch Raw. So, with that being said, I'm finished for now. This has been my review and rant of the February 22nd edition, 2021 edition of Raw. You don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.